All right, this is SSL Family Dad, and today we're going to talk all about the outdoor wood burner. Okay, so many of you have asked, we just moved into this home. It's been about 2 months now since we've been living here, and one of the huge selling features of this house was this outdoor wood burner, and a lot of you have asked about that in previous videos that I've done about collecting wood and things. You know, what is this thing, how does it work, and all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming that it must be people that are not in northern climates, or maybe just haven't seen one. They're very popular here in Michigan. I know a lot of other northern states, especially when you get up north in the Upper Peninsula and things like that, and especially out in the country where you have to use propane to heat your home. Propane is very expensive. It fluctuates with the price of oil. You know, just 5-6 years ago, it wouldn't be unheard of to spend over $1,000 to fill your tank several times a year at least, and that can get very pricey to heat your home in the winter. So many people have installed these outdoor wood burners. So today I just want to go through how it works, you know, what process I've been using that I found works with wood and stuff like that, how easy this thing is and what it does for us. It's as close as you can get to free heat for your home. All the wood that we're burning here has been harvested off the land that we have here, and so we haven't paid for anything besides the minimal amount of electricity that it takes to run this. And so let's dig in and see how it works. Okay, so basically this is how it sits about 95% of the time. Just a little bit of smoke rolling out of the chimney there. It's just kind of at a smolder right now. There's coals in there. It's basically choked off of air, so it's not currently running, I guess you'd say. The feed door at the front here is pretty good size. It's probably about 2 feet by 2.5 feet, and so you can add quite a bit of wood or good size. Obviously you can't add something this big in there. That will need to be split or cut in half, but you know, you can fit whole logs in there. So I'm just putting this stuff right in the door. Real big size stuff here. I mean, that'll roll right in there. This one, I'm not sure, I might need to cut that one, and a lot of this stuff is fairly green. So that's another bonus for this thing, is that you can burn some pretty green wood in here, I've noticed. And I'll show you how this works here when the blower comes on. But when that blower comes on in there, it's like a coal furnace. It's hot, and it'll dry that wood out. Obviously sitting here smoldering like it does. The wood's just in there right now, it's super hot, and a lot of moisture is just venting off the top there, and so it dries that wood out. So what we have here is, this is the fill, or the level of water, and so this is just a float in here, and this just tells you how much water is in the boiler. And there's a huge tank somewhere on the top here of this, and I don't know how many gallons this one is. I'm guessing it's probably about 150 or so. And so it's a big thermal mass there on the top of water. And so that's what heats up, and then it's constantly circulating that back and forth into the house. So right back here, this is the controls. It's very simple. There's a circulation pump, and this is just a hot water circulation pump. This runs all the time. I don't know what the wattage draw is on this. I'd have to look that up. It's not much. I plan to run this off of solar down the road, but right now it's just we have electricity run out here, and that's what it's running on. So the circulation pump just constantly keeps that water circulating from in the house to out here. This is just a thermostat or a thermometer, I guess. In this case, just tells us what it's at. We keep it between 150 and 170 degrees. So you can set that hotter or cooler, but that seems to work pretty good. And then you just have this blower here. The blower itself will come on when it calls for heat. So there's this thermostat here that this is basically the same as what's on a furnace. There's a temperature sensor in or near the tank, and then when this hits that temperature, it sends the allows power to flow to the blower, and the blower, this lifts up, allows air to come in, and it forces air into that firebox. And when that thing kicks on, like I said, it just flares that fire right up, and it heats this water up quick. Most of the time it stays closed, and so the wood you know, sitting in there doesn't really burn. It just sits there and waits for the blower to come on again. All right, you can see once that blower kicks on, this thing just burns, and it doesn't run long because with a flame like that in there, it'll heat that water up quick. But this thing it'll dry out, and you can see the wet wood here, and this is wet too, and it'll dry that stuff out quick, and it seems to burn just fine. So a log that size will be in there for that'll be in there for a couple days. Okay, so coming on to the inside here, we've got this kind of mess in this little closet. So we're on a slab here. This is what we inherited from the previous owners. Not exactly the prettiest plumbing job. May want to redo some of this at some point. I'll see PVC and stuff like that, and then PEX for the boiler stuff, but not exactly my favorite. But anyway, so the hot water lines from the boiler, they come in back here. There's one here and one here. They kind of sneak in through the wall in the back there. And that's the hot water comes in, and then the cooler water goes back out to the boiler to get heated again. So the first thing it does is it comes in underneath our furnace here, and it comes over to the, this is the water heater. So I'll show you up top view. So that's the water heater there. So the hot water actually comes in the bottom here, and it goes through this little pipe. It's like a heat exchanger. So the water, there's a pipe that runs directly through the center of this, and then there's a sleeve of water around it. So the hot water from the boiler outside comes in, and it goes around that pipe, and then it goes back out here. And that pipe, there's a pipe in the center of this, so there's the outlet, and the inlet is down below. That goes into the water heater. Actually goes into where the drain valve normally is in the water here. So the cooler water that settles at the bottom of the hot water tank, it kind of thermal siphons through here and gets heated, and then goes up through this pipe, and then dumps in to the top of the hot water tank. And then again, as it cools down, it thermal siphons through and gets heated again. So there's no mixing of the outside boiler water with our fresh water or hot water here, but it heats it through that thermal siphon. So this could be adapted to any hot water tank. So after the hot water goes through that heat exchanger, heats the hot water for the house, it comes over here and then goes up. This is a bypass, so you can shut the furnace part off if you just want to heat your hot water in the summertime but don't want to heat the house. So that's closed right now because we're heating the house and the hot water. And then this goes up and into this this coil or heat exchanger of sorts. It's basically like a car radiator, just backwards. Hot water goes in here and cycles through this coil, and this is where the plenum is from the furnace, and the air obviously blows through that and then goes up into the ductwork of the house. And the cooler water here will come out. It's not really cooler, it's still hot. This is always, the circulation pump is always running, so this is always circulating through here. So this stuff is all warm, and this closet is very warm. But the cooler water will go back out here, and then down, and then it goes back out to the boiler. Now what this is here, this wonderful, look at this gas line job. That is just awful. I'm going to be taking that apart. But anyway, this here goes to a Freshwater Supply. And so this is how you top off the whole system. So if we want to add some water to it, we can turn our valve here, and that goes, just pumps fresh water into the system, so we can top it off a little bit, fill that outside tank, and when that is full, we shut that off, and we can go check that float level outside and see how full that that tank is. So I'll take you over to the thermostat and just kind of show you how that works. Okay, so we've got two thermostats here, one of which is not really secured to the wall properly. But this one here is our propane thermostat. This is the normal furnace thermostat. If I had the propane turned on, this thermostat would you know, come on and off and heat the home with that propane. This thermostat here is the second one. This is for the actual boiler, the outdoor wood burner. And so since I have this kind of turned off right now, it doesn't really matter. But I have this set at, you know, whatever temperature you want. So right now it's at about 70. When it gets below 70 degrees in the house, this trips on and the blower kicks on in the furnace, and just the blower, that's all that comes on, and it just blows air over the that heat exchanger with all that hot water in it, and it heats the house. And then when this obviously is satisfied and it's up to 70 degrees, then it kicks off and the blower goes off. Now what you can do is have your propane set as a backup, so you can set this, say, at like 80 degrees or 65 degrees or something like that. And then if your boiler ever, you know, ran out of wood or it got too cold, or, you know, you weren't able to feed it or something like that, then the propane furnace could come on as a backup and heat the home, or keep it, you know, keep it above freezing at least, or comfortable. So you could still use that, but I don't plan to use the propane at all this year. That's my goal. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps it up for the tour of the outdoor wood burning heater or boiler. This thing is just absolutely awesome. This was, again, one of the selling points when we moved into this house. It's not free, but it's very close to free. We just got our first electric bill from this house, and it was just less than half of what we paid at the old house, or first utility bill in general. So we don't have any gas appliances. We don't use any propane here. This supplies all of the heat and all of the hot water that we need. We never run out of hot water. The hot water is very hot, and we have dishwashers and washing machines, and, you know, 5 people in the house using hot water and taking showers and all that kind of stuff. Never have a problem with it running out at all. So very, very cool little unit. If you guys have questions or anything about you know, running this thing or anything like that I didn't answer in the video, please let me know, especially if you're looking at buying one. That's one of the reasons I did the video, for people looking at, you know, purchasing these things. One question I get is, you know, how often do I have to put wood in it? That really depends on how cold it is, how much you're using hot water, and what kind of wood you're burning. But generally right now I've just been coming out about twice a day. If I put a really big log in there right in the center, that thing will burn in there for a few days, and I'll just add some little ones around the edges. You can pack this thing super full and probably only come out once a day. When it's super cold outside, probably 2 to 3 times a day you'll need to come out and add wood to it. So that's just my best estimate. It's only been as cold as about 35 or 34 at night here in October, and so you know, we haven't really tested it down below 0 yet, but I'll let you guys know if there's any update on that. So, but as always, guys, I really appreciate you watching. If you're interested in sustainable and farming and any type of do-it-yourself kind of stuff, that's what we do here. So please subscribe to the channel and follow along. We've got a whole range of things that we put videos out on this channel. I'd love to have you guys tag along. So hit thumbs up on the video if you can, guys. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a good one.